welcome back. I just thought I'd do this quick video. I've been wanting to do it forever. It's been top priority of videos, but I've just not really known how to do it. It's a bit awkward, but I'm getting more and more questions about it daily. So here goes. Money. Brits don't like talking about it at the best of times. And in terms of fostering, it is a very touchy subject. I think there's two very different types of opinions in terms of finances and fostering. You get lots of people who seem to think that we are paid millions of pounds to do something that doesn't cost a lot. I think some people don't realise that we are compensated for everything that we have to do for these children. So I just thought I'd break it down for you a little bit, because I can remember initially not realising that we did in fact get not just the costs of the child covered, but a fee as well for ourselves. I didn't realise that that was the case. And I can remember going through my assessment and kind of trying to work out financially what type of position we would be in once I gave up my job. But I was too embarrassed to ask, because the biggest thing, and I get this all the time when I speak to people privately, is you don't want people to think you're just doing it for the money. There is not a carer on this planet who does it just for the money. And there has to be another reason. You couldn't physically put yourself through this just for a sum. There is no amount of money in the world where you could open your house, open every aspect of your life, be called upon at any time of the day. It's just not possible. There has to be something else inside of you other than finances. If somebody is doing it just for the money, I'd love to know their tricks, because it's tough. It's a tough job, and so much more goes into it that just money can't buy. So you'll probably have heard the adverts on the radio about the 400 and I don't know, I think it's like £480 a week or something that some of the big companies are offering. It will completely vary as to what you get paid. Even local authority to agencies, obviously everyone knows there's a difference in there. You tend to get paid slightly more via an agency than you do if you're directly fostering with your local authority. But then even local authority to local authority, that will vary too. There isn't a set standard across the board that foster carers are paid. It is usually split into your fee and money for the child, and money for the child in terms of pocket money. You have an allocated amount you have to put into a savings account. You have a clothing allowance, birthdays, Christmases, leisure activities. So you are given, I have a specific list of how much is expected to be spent on each particular category. It's not worth me telling you what mine is, because it's different across the board. Even with Capstone, it's different depending on the child, the needs of the child, the age of the child. So it's completely different, but you are compensated. You're not expected to feed and clothe and do everything with these children out of nothing, because it's not always possible to work. It's almost impossible to work alongside fostering. The biggest thing they make a point of initially is sort of saying, if you give up your job, there's no guarantee you'll get a child. And these children can leave at any time. So tomorrow, for whatever reason, these children can just go. You've seen it previously with myself. We got 5 days notice and the boys were moved on. Payments were stopped. I then had zero income coming into the house. It was just Nico's wage. We are fortunate that we can live off of Nico's wage. So you do have to consider that should there be a gap in placement, should you not have a placement, your placement leave for whatever reason, are you able to survive? You can still claim benefits in certain circumstances. I don't claim any benefits. I've never looked into it because, like I say, we've always had our savings. Nico has always worked. So I've just it's not something that I've ever looked into. I know obviously if we had our own children, you still have child benefit and things like that. But I do know lots of carers that are still in receipt of their benefits that they would have been if they didn't have their fostering allowance. And a lot of those are single carers also. The money that you get from your agency or your local authority isn't classed as a wage. So although we're classed as being self-employed and we have to fill a tax return out every single year, if you are watching this and you haven't filled your tax return out and you've been fostering for a week, doesn't matter, get it done. So many people don't realise that you have to file a tax return. You put 000, you can ring up accountants and they'll offer you massive discounts for foster carers. You can call Foster Talk, they will sort it out for you. I think that's who we went with. Get it done. Do not get into a point where you're getting fined for late tax returns and things like that. You're classed as self-employed, you have to fill out a yearly tax return. But on those tax returns, you put 00000. I don't fully understand how it all works. I would never pretend to. I would love to do a video with somebody, a solicitor, an accountant, or somebody that does know how to do it. As foster carers, we get an extra tax bracket, a relief, an extra tax relief. So everybody gets a set amount. Then foster carers get a set amount also on top of it. So unless you've got sort of lots of children and you're getting lots and lots of fees in, 9 times out of 10 you're not really looking at paying any tax. I've looked after 2 children, I'm looking after 2 children now, filed my tax return, I don't have to pay a penny's tax. But just get it sorted straight away. Do not get yourself into a position where that happens. Pocket money and clothing allowances, savings accounts and things like that, you have to open a savings account for each child and you have to put a set amount of money into those accounts each week or month. However, again, your supervisor and social worker will tell you how much you're expected to put in there and they will check. If that child moves on, that money moves with the child. If that child ages out, the money moves on with the child. It's never your money. That at no point is your money to spend. That is for the child when they reach aging out at some point, or adoption or anything like that. It's often quite tricky to open accounts for the children because you don't always have passports, birth certificates and things like that. So we had the money in an account in our names for a long time and then it just got moved over. Clothing allowance and things like that, I've never had to produce receipts because it's quite evident. You walk into the children's bedrooms, open their wardrobes, you can see that they're constantly being bought new things, constantly have new clothes. My logs will always reflect we went here, we went there, we did this, we bought that, we bought this. But sometimes social workers will ask to see receipts just to ensure that you are spending the amount that you're supposed to be spending on these children. Pocket money, again, you will be told how much is expected to be given to the children. We got into a position where a comment was made by Squirtle where I'd bought him something and he just, when he was telling Nico about it, he said, yeah, but that's just like that with Connie. I just pointed at it, said I liked it and she got it for me. It's all you've got to do with Connie. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'm just being a little bit too handout. So initially we didn't really have a set pocket money regime because the money was being spent on the children anyway. Particularly when they first come into your care, there's a lot you do have to buy them. Quite often they don't come with a lot of things. But after that comment was made, we did then put a set pocket money rule in place. And it's working really well for us. Again, you will be guided by your supervising social worker as to where's best to go on that. Speaking in terms of buying things and the initial outlay, so when the child arrives, you won't get any money on that day. It's like a payday almost. So it could be weekly, 2 weekly, 4 weekly, monthly. So you'll go without getting anything when the children first arrive. Some local authorities will give you an advancement or they will give you a buggy or a car seat or things like that. Some won't. Ours didn't. We went out, we had to clothe them, buy them toys, get everything for them. But like I say, we did have savings there to do that. So I would say just make sure you've got yourself into sort of a financial position initially going into fostering, if it is something you're looking to do, even for yourself as well, because all of a sudden you've got this new routine going on, you're at home a lot more, I tended to just spend a little more. I found myself going to the supermarket sort of every 2-3 days as opposed to every 2 weeks when we were just a single couple. So just have a little think about that prior to going down the fostering route. I've got a friend at the moment, she was looking into fostering initially and has decided that actually to give up her job and throw herself into fostering gave her a big sort of financial strain and the anxiety of wondering whether she'd be able to still afford her mortgage and everything. So she's now looked into respite. So respite care is something that you can do to help other carers, which you will still get paid for. It's often at the weekends or during school holidays and things. So just consider the finances. I've touched on it before, but it isn't for everybody. But at the same time, you are compensated for being a foster carer. So you've not got to do this out of your own pockets whatsoever. There's not really much else in terms of the monetary thing. Some things get a little bit more expensive. So like your home insurance, you have to tell them that you are a foster carer. Car insurance, you have to tell them that you're a foster carer. Put your car down as business use. Some insurance companies will let you off of that fee. Some insurance companies will, but always check and just bear that in mind. You can get sort of like day out cards and things. I can't think of some of the names of them. Again, I'm not brilliant at looking into them and taking full advantage of them. I know you do get a Costco card though, so speak to your supervisor and social worker about that. We have a Costco membership. Again, not that we ever go there, but we probably should to buy sort of things in bulk. But aside from that, in terms of it causing an expense on you, I haven't found it a struggle in any way. Some places will compensate your mileage. So if you are travelling far for contact or far for school runs and things, they will cover the cost of your mileage. So that is something to bear in mind. But yeah, I think that's the bulk of the information in terms of finances. Don't be scared to ask. You are doing a job. We can't do it for free. And I think that would have given me a little bit more confidence initially had I have asked and had I have had it all laid out on the table for me. Because I did go into it wondering sort of, we could have children for 2 weeks and then have no children for 6 months, and I was like, oh, I'll end up having to go and like get a job in a supermarket or something. But I was equally prepared to do that anyway, because fostering was something that I really wanted to do. But 9 times out of 10, we're in such dire need of foster carers at the moment. Gaps, although they do happen, it might not necessarily be something that is happening often. If you only want a specific age range, so say you only want between 0 and 2 and you're working via an agency, the likelihood of you having gaps is got to be bigger. But again, your assessing social worker will talk all of that through with you. So yeah, that's kind of it around money and finances. If you've got any more questions, anything that I haven't covered, please do send me a message, leave me a comment, and I will, if I don't know the answer, I'll find the answer out for you and let you know. Thanks guys, see you later.